everybody, welcome back to my channel. I thought we could spend a bit of an afternoon together today. It's been an awfully long time since I have vlogged, and I've actually set aside the afternoon to spend with you guys and just catch up and spend a very cozy autumnal afternoon together. It is the week of Halloween, Samhain, for those of you who are a bit witchy and just like to kind of acknowledge that it's time for the veilers and this, that and the other. And my plan for the afternoon is what I do every year around autumn, around this time, which is making a very cozy, very witchy simmer pot. And I feel like this could be the most special one yet. Truthfully, I am very excited to do this with you this afternoon. But before we even begin, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Thank you for being here. We're in a slightly different setting, which is really exciting. We moved at the beginning of October and we have been spending the last few weeks just settling in, which has been really, really lovely. Anyone who's kind of a regular watcher here will know that we have been moving through quite a few moves this year that we're all kind of leading up to settling where we are now. So this is going to be our sort of setting for the foreseeable future, which is really, really exciting. And yeah, I'm just so excited to be here. I've got a very lovely cup of Earl Grey tea, and the plan is for the afternoon is I'm going to go out into the garden. We've been very lucky to inherit a very overgrown but beautiful garden, and I feel like everything's kind of having its second bloom at the moment. So but we could head out there, do some collecting, firstly of things for a simmer pot, but also things I think I could do maybe a flower arrangement as well this evening, afternoon, whatever it might be. So I thought we could head out there, we could make a simmer pot. I could show you my recipe. I've also written a blog post on this recipe on the Soul Shadow blog. For those of you that don't know, I have an online soul studio, which also has a blog sort of attached to it. So that is what I thought we could do this afternoon and kind of spend it together. So I feel like this is the perfect activity for a cozy afternoon together. Now with that being said, whenever I make my simmer pot, I have actually bought this pot for simmer pots. It has a very particular use, if I do say so myself. I'm going to talk you through all of the ingredients. I do tend to choose things quite intentionally, but even more than that, I feel it's important to share why I do simmer pots, why I love them. And simmer pots are so amazing for cleansing the energy in your home, which is great for us because we moved into a new home. It means a little fresh in the cleanse of energy. Also really amazing, the non-toxic fragrance, so you can make a really autumnal scent without some candles. Obviously can not be great for us, so I would say this as a candle lover. I love candles, but if that's something that you are particularly intentional about and aware about, it's a really lovely way of bringing non-toxic sort of scents into your home. Amazing for cleansing the energy, as I say. But even more than that, it's also I kind of think of it as spell work, because I put in all of the items I want to include, and I do it with like a sense of manifestation in order to bring in abundance, to cleanse energy, to bring peace, bring love. You can choose everything you put into a simmer pot with so much intention, because herbs and flowers and fruits and even the water, I always recommend using moon water. Don't have it today, but never mind. But yes, everything you use can hold really special properties, and I'll talk you through all of the things that I choose to use in mine. But with that being said, let's go and collect some things for an autumn simmer pot. During this time of year within nature, we can really see that autumn is just like brewing and brimming with so much abundance. And I always just think it's so beautiful how this season can hold duality of shedding and letting go and deaths, whilst also bringing forth so much abundance and harvest, and really showing you all of the beauty that can surround you. It can show you the beauty in endings, but also gives you so many gifts as maybe chapters come to an end and new ones begin. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the garden, despite a little bit of neglect and the chill of autumn really setting in, there are roses which are finding their second blooms of the year. So even though I wasn't able to find my secateurs, I really wanted to come out here and try and at least bring some in to warmth inside. And I really think there is something so beautiful and almost metaphoric about a second bloom. And I also think it's one of those really beautiful lessons that nature brings, that even when you think everything is over and the energy is dying down and maybe you feel a closing or an ending coming, there is always a possibility for second chances. There is always the possibility to bloom again, maybe even bigger than you once did. And I think that's such a beautiful lesson that we can really hold close. And whilst always honouring the cycles of bloom and decay and knowing after a bloom we must give ourselves time to come inwards too, it's really lovely to know that we too always do have that opportunity to find our own second bloom. Anyway, let's get back to the task at hand, which is our autumn simmer pot. And as I mentioned, we've been really lucky that the people who lived here before we did were really avid in the garden, and with that, there is so much abundance there. Where we are in England, apples are growing honestly in huge abundance amongst the orchards, and we're very lucky to have had a few. So I knew that I wanted to bring these in for the simmer pot. This particular simmer pot today is kind of a energy cleanse for the home for us. So I knew bringing in some things from the garden that felt really sort of a part of the home and the land as well was going to be so perfect for this simmer pot today. With that being said, you could bring in any ingredients you have around. So whatever fruits or harvests are local to where you are, it does not matter. Everything we find in nature carries a vibration and therefore carries almost a spiritual and energetic energy to it. So there really is no rules to the ingredients you include in your simmer pot. I have just poured some water into my simmer pot. Now, usually I would use moon water, but within the moving process, I haven't been quite so organized. So today I am going to charge my simmer pot water with some Reiki energy. But if you aren't Reiki trained and want to do this, you can still visualize maybe giving your energy to some of the water within your simmer pot. Now it's time to get down to the ingredients we choose to include in our simmer pot. As I say, there's no rules, but we always want to choose something with our intention around it. Everything we can choose to include in the simmer pot holds a spiritual or energetic property, and it can be really nice to have a little research of what qualities you want to bring into your home and choose your ingredients accordingly. I have written all about the majority of my favorite ingredients on the Soul Shadow blog post about this, but for today, as I said, I am using orange, which is fantastic for being really invigorating and cleansing, but also brings a lot of happiness into the home. Also, the scent of orange I just find brings in so much of that cozy, festive vibe, but I'm also choosing apple partly because it's come from local to us, but also apple can be fantastic for bringing in prosperity and love. I like to bring in bay leaves for energetic protection. I also always use cinnamon. It's one of my favorites and it is so good for bringing in abundance and just really fantastic for manifestation as well. I decided to dedicate one of the roses to this simmer pot because rose petals
again are so fantastic for bringing in really beautiful divine feminine energy as well as love. And I just always love including some sort of rose essence into my simmer pots. I also usually like to include vanilla as well for very similar reasons. However, we're keeping the simmer pot today quite simple. Another thing I wanted to bring in was honey. This again is amazing for feminine energy, but even more than that, it's so good for abundance, it's good for luck, it's good for joy. And for that reason, I knew I wanted to include honey in mine too. From here, I decided just to include a few more, one being sage for energetic cleansing, fennel leaves for protection and resilience, and then I also added a bit more ground cinnamon because you can never have too much cinnamon for good luck. There was also a little bit of salt in there because we always throw spilled salt over our left shoulder for good luck, so she's being added in to the simmer pot as well. Whilst I didn't include these in this simmer pot, some of my absolute other favourites to include, which I've mentioned again on the Soul Shower blog post, I love to include cardamom and nutmeg. I also love to bring in aniseed or cloves. These are all really, really beautiful herbs that really help to add to the fragrance but also carry their own spiritual properties. So you can really tailor the simmer pot to what you're trying to manifest into your home. And then from here, it's really quite simple. We add each of the recipes with intention, thinking about why we chose them and thinking about the properties we want to call in as we add them to our simmer pot. We make sure it's on a simmer, getting a nice little bubble there. And then as we add them and it's finished, we will just leave it here to simmer and boil and bubble all afternoon, and as it does, it will infuse all of that energy into our home, cleansing the space but also bringing in all of the energetic properties of the ingredients that we've chosen to include. The clocks went back on Sunday, which means that evenings are getting dark very early here. Come 4:30, it's beginning to feel very dark and cozy, and whilst my simmer pot was simmering away on the stove, I thought it was the perfect time to pull a few cards for the week ahead. It's often said that this time of year in October, it's also Scorpio season, but even more than that, it is Samhain on Friday. So it's often said that this is a time where your spirituality can be enhanced. So it felt like the perfect time to pull some cards and share them with you.
Hello guys, it's been an awfully long time since we have had good lighting in a bathroom to catch up. But as you will have seen, my simmer pot is simmering away on the stove. It smells incredible. I will keep it simmering away all evening. I'll probably have to move it to the side whilst I make dinner, but I will keep it simmering all evening, and then when it's finished, I'll probably have a think about what I'll do with what's left over. I wrote all about this in the Soul Shadow blog, but you have so many options. One of my favourites is kind of like giving it back to the land, so kind of giving it as a bit of a sacred offering to maybe your favourite place. But as I say, it is a very cosy autumn evening. It is starting to get dark here very early now. We've had daylight savings, so by 4:30 it's getting dark, and that means I am getting cozy. I'm having a cozy shower. I'm getting into my cozy PJs and ready for, even if I'm continuing working like I am now, I'll do it in the most cozy of fashions. But with that being said, I feel like one of the main things people struggle with at this time of year is the fact that the amount of sunlight hours changes and we're kind of sinking into darkness a little bit more, which I actually love. It feels like the feminine half of the year, but my biggest sort of trick for that is making rituals that support it. In the winter and the late autumn, everything becomes a ritual. My evening routine, my evening skincare, my evening shower, it's all as cozy. We light the candles, we use our favorite things, and we make it as cozy and lovely as we possibly can, because this is it's like hermit time, which to be honest, I'm a bit of a hermit all year round. So the permission to do it during winter and autumn is just my absolute favourite thing. But with that being said, I'm not going to finish off with you just yet. I'll continue sort of well, not maybe chatting to you, but kind of showing you what I get up to on my cozy evening. But I really hope you have enjoyed this vlog. I honestly have, I feel like for the majority of this year, my soul has just been craving making cozy, slow, woo-woo, but also like really grounded and, I don't know, just grounded, beautiful content that leaves you feeling good and kind of like shifts your perspective. And I really hope that this has maybe even captured just like an essence of what I was trying to share here. But as I say, there's always so much more on the Soul Shadow blog, and I feel like as we've kind of got the moving chapter out of the way, I have so much more time to dedicate to sitting and writing, which honestly brings me so much joy. I've just missed feeling 100% present. So with that being said, very excited to be sharing more on the blog, and yeah, it's just feeling like everything is opening up and just so much more inspired. And she says hanging out in her dressing gown after a shower, but feeling so much more inspired and just really excited to be back with you guys. I feel like another thing, and I feel like I was saying this in the vlogs before this as well a little while ago, just like thank you so much for bearing with me, as I feel like so many of you have been with me for a little while now in terms of subscribers, and life just continues changing and the vlogs change, and it's just so nice that so many of you stick with me. I'm also aware that like some of you won't stick with me and some of you go, and like so grateful you've been here for the time you've been here, and maybe one day we'll reconnect soon. But for those of you who are still here and you enjoy it and you love hanging out, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. It is just my favorite thing and it fills me with so much joy, and I'm so grateful. But with that being said, I am going to log off chatting to you here, continue taking you along with me for, as I say, a very cozy autumnal afternoon. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog, and if you did, please do like and subscribe below. Pop me a message if you haven't explored the Soul Shadow. We have a 7-day free trial. Soul Shadow, we also, the blog is free. I don't think I mentioned that. The blog is free, but if you want to then maybe try some of our classes or our guided rituals, that can be really amazing as well. We do actually have a guided Samhain ritual, so if you're into Halloween and spooky season and you just want to feel all those witchy vibes, it's kind of my thing. Kind of my thing. So yeah, we do have a 7-day free trial there, but otherwise we'll continue hanging out for a cozy evening, and I will catch up with you in the next vlog.